Welcome back, everybody, to Who's Got Next Game, the video game podcast where we talk a lot of crap about games and don't care. Anyway, I'm here with my two co-hosts, Connor and Charles. We are here talking about a fun topic, something that everybody has played at least one time in their life, and that is the platformers genre. Just to kind of give you guys a synopsis, for those of you that may not know too much about the platforming genre, that's going to be stuff like your Super Mario Brothers series, Sonic the Hedgehog series. Basically, your character is traversing through different levels with different varying platform heights and all that kind of stuff. Now, they're subject to opinion about what is or is not a platforming game. We'll get into that a little bit, but for the most part, we're going to kind of talk about what our favorite platforming games are and just basically the entire genre in general. And just as usual, we'll give our top 3 games. And what are your guys' memories with some of the platforming games? Connor, what about you? Got any memories with some good platformers?
I mean, I think the obvious one that probably comes to, most people's minds when they think of platformers is Mario. I mean, I played, on the Game Boy, I played on the DS, I played on Wii, I played on Switch a couple times. I mean, to me, that's probably the one that sticks out the most, just because it's so well known, but also, I mean, so many iterations, and it's just, it's very simple and it's easy to grasp and easy to play and fun to play too.
He's the king of the platformer. Like he
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
Mr. Platform Game. He
Oh yeah.
made the genre what it is.
Definitely.
He popularized the genre for what it is. There are older games that are platformers that came before Mario,
genre.
but he is the face of the genre. Everybody can make their arguments about, Sonic, was the face of the genre for a while, but I think collectively people know Mario games a lot better. Is there one Mario game in specific that comes to mind from your childhood, Connor?
There are 2. The earliest one was Super Mario Bros. 3,
Okay.
for the Game Boy. So that's the one that I played, probably the most just in like early childhood. And then as a 11, 12 prepubescent boy, it was definitely Super Mario Galaxy. That's the one that really
That's a good one.
That's a great game.
I don't know. I think I truly fell in love with the franchise in that one just because of how different it was. It was like one of the first kind of 3D ones too.
That came out on the Wii, right?
Yeah, it came out on the Wii. It was one of the first
Yeah.
Wii games. It came out probably 2008, I think.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, 15
Long
years.
time ago.
2008, man. What were you guys doing in 2008 besides playing Mario Galaxy?
I was a teenager.
Yeah, I mean 2008. I was in 6th grade, 5th grade. No,
yeah, I want to say around 6th, 7th, 6th grade. I think that sounds about right. But yeah, that was the age where you just played a video game and that you got that one game and you played that for as many hours as you could.
Exactly.
Yep.
But what about you, Charles? What do you got? What's your knowledge on platformers? Anything you can think of?
I think my very first one was Pac-Man World on the PlayStation 1. Just playing as Pac-Man in a 3D sense rather than being chased by ghosts and stuff like that. But I just thought that was kind of cool. But definitely a lot of Mario. I think I played more Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy than Super Mario World or anything like that. So definitely very fond of the platform games, I'd say. But no, it's a lot of Mario, some different alternatives out there definitely that I've played, like Pac-Man and a few others. How about you, Ty?
Oh man, I have a lot of platform games I've played. From Mario to Sonic to Crash Bandicoot, I've played almost any platform game you can think of. There's a couple that I have yet to play and I really want to try because I've seen nothing but good reviews on the games. One of them being Celeste. I actually had a friend of mine who was recently streaming it that I went to college with, and I was like, oh man, it's a really cool mechanic because you traverse through the levels using an air dash. So you basically have to figure out how to get through the level, and you can reset your air dash by collecting this crystal. So basically, you can jump through a tunnel, and you can air dash through. There's a bunch of spikes in the middle, but there's a crystal there. You can air dash to that crystal. Then you have to kind of traverse and fall, and then you can do another air dash to get to a platform.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of like, it's quick reaction, it's puzzle. There's like a good mixture of everything in that game, and I definitely want to try it. I want to get that game. But I've played pretty much any of the I've a handful of games I haven't played. I haven't played like Super Mario Brothers 2. I haven't fully played through New Super Mario Brothers Wii, but I have played it. But
same here.
I 100%ed both of the Galaxy games. I 100%ed Odyssey, which is a very fun game.
Odyssey's fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the Crash Bandicoot series. I did not 100% the Crash Bandicoot series because that is an insane task to do. But yeah, there's a lot of just different things. Like the other one that comes to mind, Connor actually is kind of just recently kind of touched it here and there, but Aladdin.
Yeah.
That game is hard.
It is hard.
Yeah, that is insanely hard.
It just keeps like, even the first level isn't easy. Like you get past the first level and you're like, all right, how much worse can it? And it only gets harder. Like
that was the first. That was the first one. That was
the first. No, the first level is difficult. Like God, I'm trying to remember, but it's just that the enemies just are relentless too. That's the worst part about it.
I think, yeah, it's definitely a harder one. But I think another one too is Ghost and Goblins. I don't know if you guys have played that one. It's the one where you're playing as Arthur. You basically get 2 hits and you're dead. Like you have to basically play perfectly. So you start out with no armor, and if you get hit with no armor, you die. But you can collect armor while you're going through the game. So you can get, it's regular armor, and then I think it's gold. I haven't played it in a while, but you can get gold armor, and gold armor is the highest one. So that allows you to take 2 hits. So you take the first hit, then you go back to regular armor. After you take a hit in regular armor, you go back to basically in your underwear. But then if you get hit again, you go back to the beginning of the level.
Dang.
That's how old school games were, man. They sent you back to the beginning. They were like, good luck.
That's the thing too. That's what also makes it hard is you don't have checkpoints. It's just like, oh, you died. Well, sucks to suck.
Yep. Another one I really like is Shovel Knight. That one, it's a modern platforming game. I like it because the dynamic of 2-player is there and it's very fun, but you can also kind of screw around. I think that's a thing with platforming games. You can kind of screw around and have fun, but also like you can take the game seriously and try to beat it. So,
well, the graphics are also very minimal and old school and kind of reflect like an older time. I really like the vibe it gives off. Mm-hmm. I really like, where it transports me, and the music and it is very good too.
Yeah.
It's like 8-bit music.
Yeah, I definitely I like the factor too where like you can customize the way you play because they have different, like you have an attack button and you can switch what your attack button does. So you have like an inventory of different attacks. Yeah. And you could change it to be like, oh, it's a sword that allows you to, when you jump and you hit up attack, it allows you to fly across as far as you can go until you hit a wall. So basically it can allow you to traverse the levels completely free, but you're basically stuck in a straight line. But there's little stuff like that in platformers that I really enjoy. But the other one that I just can think of wholeheartedly playing a lot was Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, the newest one, the remasters. Like I just remember sitting down and playing those games and just thoroughly enjoying my time playing them because they were platformers that challenged you just enough, and they had creative ways of making the game more interesting.
Yeah.
I think, Charles, you can attest to that. You played a couple of the Crash Bandicoot games.
Yeah. Which one was it? The racer one.
That's Nitro. I think. Nitro Kart. Yeah, that's more of the racing game. But did you play any of the the Crash Bandicoot 1? or any of those ones?
I played a few, not as much as other like platformers like
Okay.
Ratchet and Clank. I was more of a Ratchet and Clank kind
Okay.
of guy.
Yeah, so with the platforming genre, there are elements of platformers in other games. Like in a Ratchet and Clank style game, yeah, the main premise is guns, but you're also traversing platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
So, same thing with like 3D Sonic games. Yeah, they're platformer games. And they're, very different from the 2D platformer games of Sonic, but it's still kind of in the same realm. But Connor, do you have a little experience with the Sonic games?
I have a couple. I've played Sonic Heroes,
That's a good
uh,
one.
which is fun. Very glitchy, but that's also what makes it fun, fighting the game
It's also
against itself.
frustrating, like
Well,
beyond
no,
all
it's
measure.
fun. It's fun fighting against, the game as well
Yeah,
as, other enemies. It's pretty cool, when you're flying and all of a sudden it, drops you for no reason. Or, you try to dash and instead of, dashing where you told it to, dash at an enemy and then dashed you off the platform. I think that's fun. I think that's
yeah.
it creates good laughs and, good goofs, but trying to think of any other Sonic besides like a racing game that I played. I think I had a Sonic game for Game Boy,
Mhm.
so I played that. I forget what it was called, but it was a classic, Sonic, 2D scroller where
Yeah.
you're going through. There's like a casino in it. There was Green Sky Hill Zone. There was also a casino level. I remember that, and I remember the music, but that's
Mhm.
about it. I would say Sonic Heroes and then that.
Other games, yeah. Other games include Jack and Daxter, Spyro, Ty the
Yeah.
Tasmanian Tiger, Sly Cooper, which I'm a huge advocate for. You guys don't have to ask me twice. I will
We
advocate for
won't.
that game for the rest of my life
Yeah,
till the day
we
I die.
won't.
Thanks, Connor, for
Well, just
for
listen to some other
reassuring.
episodes. Literally, the previous episode you were talking about Sly Cooper. So,
Bring
I
back
think
Sly Cooper,
I
Sony. Hear
I
me.
I think we know at this point
Bring back
that
Sly
bringing back
Cooper.
Sly Cooper would be the first thing that you do if you're
That
in
is
charge
my
of
first
Sony.
T-shirt for this channel. We are
Yeah.
getting Bring Back Sly Cooper, but the other ones are included in the title. So like Earthworm Jim, the Simpsons game, Futurama,
Mm-hmm.
any of the Spider-Man games. Basically, did the Power Rangers have a 2D scrolling game? I can't think of, but
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
DuckTales.
Woo!
Wow, Connor, beautiful singing voice there. And then
Thank you.
the Kirby series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong 64. Um, just trying to kind of scroll through here. Banjo Kazooie. I know, Charles, you brought up Banjo Kazooie, right?
Yeah, just briefly. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys played any of the Kirby games? Kirby's Dream Land or
Mm,
No, I've never like officially played a Kirby game. I think I've only played Kirby's Dream Course, and then I've played as Kirby on Smash Bros.
I have played Kirby's Epic Yarn. And I've
mhm.
also seen a playthrough of Kirby's Epic Yarn, and that's a very cool and fun, unique platforming game.
I played Air Ride, Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube.
That's a
That
good
was a fun
Kirby
one.
game. Yeah, again, more of the racer type, but that's still a very fun game.
Yeah.
The other one, oh, Mega Man. I don't know if you
Yep.
guys have played any of the Mega Man games, but
I've played one.
I
It's definitely
I
pretty difficult. It's more
I
difficult
tried.
than
Yeah,
you
I was gonna
see.
say I
Yeah.
tried to
Than you
play
think.
one and it didn't work out, but
They're
um,
hard.
yeah, there are a lot of platform games that are kind of just like, you know, individual titles that, during the SNES era, or those older games that maybe just didn't quite catch on as with, other games. The one I can think of is it's called I think Alex Kidd. He's basically this little kid soccer player, and
Mm.
he basically uses a soccer ball as a weapon. but
Oh,
he just
nice.
does a platforming game. So it's cool. I think it's a fun, unique twist on it. Yeah, I mean, there's just all different genres like that where you can basically take the premise of going through different levels, and I think Super Mario Maker is a great way of people getting to be creative and make their own game,
Hmm.
Hmm.
utilizing the most popular characters. So, Connor, you have a little bit of knowledge in Mario Maker. In regards to, I think you've watched it more than you've played, but
Oh yeah,
we've played it together
definitely.
before.
Yeah, I've played a couple levels. I mean, I love that in Mario Maker that you can make your own levels, and I love that. I mean, you have to beat it first. So if you're really good at Mario, you could create, one of the hardest levels ever, and people, definitely have. But it's such a good concept to create your own platformer. Like, for example, there's a creator, Super Rubber Ross, who created his own world in Mario Maker and like has like I think like what 48 levels or something
Yeah,
that he
48.
created, all different, like, all pretty difficult. I think that's super cool. And I think it's also, helps with like, people who want to be like game designers and, you know, see how things affect other things and, trial and error. I think it's a, really great just concept for a game.
Charles, have you seen Mario Maker at all?
I don't think so.
Basically, the premise is like you get to be the creator of a Mario level. So you basically get to choose. You basically
Oh.
get to choose like, oh, I'll do the NES version of Mario or the
Mm.
Wii version or all the varying versions of Mario. Besides, like obviously the 3D ones, it's all
Hmm.
2D stuff. But
No, they have 3D.
2.5D. That's that would be the Mario Wii. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's yeah.
No, they have Wii U though. They have the Wii U, but
Again, it's 2.5D. It's not
yeah.
fully 3D, but I get
Well, I'm
what you
just
mean.
when I
Huh.
think of 2D, I think of like, really old ones. I think of
Yeah.
like, Game
That's
Boy
where each
era.
of the progression. So like 2D is your the like Mario on the NES, the Mario you played on your Game Boy, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
2.5D is where they're 3D models but in a 2D environment.
Interesting.
So
Huh.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in regards to into that type of game. And at least for me, like when I'm looking for a platforming game, I like the story behind it more than anything else. Like I like story driven platforming games. That's why Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper and all of those ones. I like those games because they have a story and there's someone to follow and there's a line to where I can get to. I mean, with 2D platforms, I mean, there's only forward and backward. Those are the only two directions you can go, which is what I
Hmm.
like about the genre. But
Sometimes not even backwards
yeah,
in older games.
yeah, and some of the older games you can't go backwards. But the thing that I enjoy the most in regards to platformers, like more in the 3D platformers than 2D. For 3D, I kind of look more for the story. If a 2D, I want it to be challenging.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be just like I can breeze through it. I want it to be a little bit of a challenge, but I also want it to be something where like I can go and sit down with my friends on the couch and we can all play it together and have a good time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I would
Hmm.
say like my like go to for single player versus like if we were sitting on the couch doing pass and play versus like two player, like what would your guys' games be? So if we were doing single player, like oh one of us plays and then when we die you pass the remote versus oh we're gonna do a two player, which I can give you my single player one no doubt is Sonic, specifically like the very well not the first one.
Like a pass and play style, like who's got next game kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um.
Hey, you
basically
said the
like
name of the podcast.
good job, good job Charles, way to mark it there, got you. So basically, the way that I'm thinking of it is like, oh, us three are on the couch and we're gonna play Sonic 2. Um, but however, like, we can play it two player, but player two is basically non-existent. Like, you don't see player two because the camera is focused on the first player, and you kind of just float down from the screen randomly at times. So we just play it single player, and you go until you die. Then when you die, you pass to the next person. Versus like like the multiplayer one is like, oh, the three of us can play it together.
Like for me, I would say that like something like the Aladdin game. I mean, I've mentioned it, but that would probably be like the one player one that I would do. Like, try to see how far you get, then, you know, uh give it back, or like Ninja Gaiden or something like that. I would do one player. But then if we're doing two player, I mean, I love It Takes Two. That's a newer platformer game that came out about 2 years ago, and I mean, that's just I mentioned on the previous episode, but it's literally one of the best co-op games I've ever played. Mm-hmm. And it's level by level, and it's so much fun, and it has a great story too.
What about you, Charles? What's brewing up in that mind of yours?
I'm just trying to think of like pass and play, because I want to go to like the Ratchet and Clank series, or even the Jack and Daxter, like those kind of like where you're trying to get through a level, almost like a campaign with your buds kind of thing. But
yeah,
my first immediate thought was like Super Mario World, like trying to get through the levels. Who can get the highest score, or even just going through the campaign kind of thing.
There's a 2-player mode in that, actually, where it's like you're playing as Mario and Luigi, and you guys progress like, oh, if I beat this level, then your character goes next, and you can try to beat the next level, but if you don't beat it, then my character will move to this part of the map, and you guys can go on different sections of the map and stuff too.
Yeah, and like there's some difficulty in it as you get later, but also you build like synergy with your co-partner kind of thing. So I mean, that's just one of the things that jumped to my mind.
What about like multiplayer? Like if you were gonna have two or more people, like if it was just the three of us, my go-to is probably gonna be Super Mario 3D World.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like maybe I would say like the Mario Bros on Wii, just because you can have 3 players all.
They have the remaster on the Switch too.
Oh well, then just do that and create absolute chaos with everyone.
Connor, you choose Pain in that game.
I choose Toad. So if Toad is Pain, then that's what I choose.
Do you choose to hinder the group?
No. I'm way too much of a completionist to or like completion. Not. I'm too like
nice.
No, kind, I want to get the task done. I want to get the task done as soon as possible.
Would you guys consider any of the Lego movies to be or Lego games to be platforms?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you go through each level, like I could even like those, you almost have to be two player for it to be fully functional.
Yeah. I'll say it's more fun to do it with two people than just doing it on your own, but
I'd agree.
Yeah, I count those towards that, because you are having to platform. There's puzzle solving. I mean, there's elements of a lot of different games in it, but I would agree that would be up there in the platforming world. And I think for me, like I think platforming spans along a lot of genres, like or a lot of timeline. So you have people like one of the guests we had on my show, my dad. I mean, he knows platforming games. Like, he understands them. And he's familiar with them. Like, he's played... Atari had a game called Pitfall. And we played that game growing up at my grandma's house. Because she had an old school Atari from... I think it was Sears. It was like a Sears branded Atari.
Wow.
Yeah, old Atari. But anyway... But basically, that was like one of the first platforming games I can think of that was before like Mario. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff, like with arcade games, like you have your Contra, which is it is a shooting game, but platforming elements within a shooting game. So
and definitely, I mean, it becomes a platformer. I mean, the one that we've played, Ty, is what, Contra 3?
Contra 3.
Yeah, that one's definitely a platformer, just on how you,
Mm.
you know, go through all the levels and have
Yeah.
to, like, I wouldn't call it a shooter. I'd call it a platform game before anything
The
else.
other one for me that I think of, I played it a little bit, and again, I want to like fully play through it and like sit and kind of like really give the game a chance. But I did it in high school for a little while. It's called Earthworm Jim.
I've heard of that.
Yeah,
What's it about?
basically this character. His name is Jim. He's an earthworm,
Mhm.
i.e., Earthworm Jim. He, I don't remember the full story exactly, but basically he gets this body like mechanical bodysuit that he can like get into. Like I don't know, I think it was some alien species or something, whatever. Or he got it from some science lab, but basically he can use it as like a full body, and now he goes and saves the planet. It's some like the 90s video games where it's just this ridiculous story of like
Yeah,
this would
I mean,
never happen.
they were
Like
all on cocaine
mhm.
creating those ideas, so that's definitely a coke nightmare, whatever.
Coke.
I've
Earthworm
never
Jim is
done
a
coke, so
Coke
I wouldn't be.
nightmare.
I would not be able to tell you if it is or not, but if someone described to me of a coke nightmare, that'd be it.
So if somebody like Connor, let's say you were making a video game and your friend comes up to you and is like, dude, I got an idea for our main character. He's an earthworm.
I would say, hey, have you heard of Sunnyside Acres? It's a real good rehab facility. I love you. Uh, your
Wow.
family loves you too. Uh,
Sunnyside Acres.
we
Sunnyside
should go get you
Acres.
detox. I love you so much, and
Like the
I
marketplace
want the
names,
best
like
for you.
get some help.
Connor silently dialing 911.
No. It's not 911. No, I am not sending them to jail. I am sending them to somewhere where
To
they can
mental
detox and
institute? Like that's better.
no. It's so then they can get off the coke and create an idea that's not absolutely batshit insane, like an earthworm named Jim.
Oh, it's so funny. But no, so his power, so he has like a little laser blaster,
Mhm.
but he also can use his worm body as a weapon and a grapple. So he can literally he pulls his head off and like he can whip it and then put it back. It's so ridiculous. It's so 90s. Like
The more that you're saying
very
it,
Yeah, it's very 90s.
the more the people who
And he
came up
has
with
this,
it were on drugs.
you know what I'm talking, like the 90s attitude era. He
Yeah.
had that like 90s like, oh, I'm a badass attitude era.
Yeah, no one's
I
gonna
don't give
no
a
one's gonna fuck
shit
with
about
me.
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Charles, look up like just the picture of Earthworm Jim and you'll
I
see.
have it pulled up.
Yep, it's ridiculous, right?
Like G.I. Joe.
He's
meets,
literally like he's yoked. Like he's big guy on the block type of deal. But his spacesuit, it's like Buzz Lightyear-esque.
Yeah, people were on drugs thinking of this, man.
A lot of the games in the 90s, I think, were like.
There was a second one.
What were you thinking? Yeah, Earthworm Jim 2. I love it. Shout outs to the people who made Earthworm Jim.
Shout out to
Shout outs. They're probably all poked out.
They're probably all like, they're probably gonna like find Connor and send him a strongly worded letter of like, listen.
Or they'll be like, thank you. I finally got the help I deserved after all these years. And I've been on this journey of rehab for a while.
I've been on a detox since 1992.
I haven't touched the stuff since.
Yeah, there are a lot of platforming games. I can't even think of the amount of like platforming games that there are. Like just I don't know. Like I'm kind of just trying to like scroll through. I have like a whole list of stuff
for sure.
What are some that you can think of?
Oh man. I mean Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine. Let's see, looking at the list. Man. Oh, if you guys are wondering, we're using a very well-known, totally legit, high elite level list, which is Wikipedia. Heyo.
Well, I think one that has definitely definitely made like a big transition and has also like, I don't know, was like one of the first like definitely big female led video games was Tomb Raider. I mean that's a huge
Lara Croft,
yeah, that's a huge series that like
Yeah.
spawned a movie that is still popular today and is still one of like PlayStation's big platformers.
Oh, and that leads me to, speaking of women in video games, Super Metroid.
Yeah, Metroid.
And Metroid.
Yeah,
one of the first female characters of all time. Yeah, that's easily a platform game.
Definitely.
And they actually just recently did, well, not recently, but a couple years ago, they did a remake of the game called Metroid Dead something. I don't know.
Dead Space?
No, I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of the newer ones. One of my friends, he really enjoys that that game. So yeah, it's what was the other one? Oh, Connor, you remember Super Bonk? The one Super Bonk. It was the like caveman looking guy that was bald, and he would like is basically like he would get these powers, and like one of the powers would make him invincible, but his like face would start glowing different colors. I think the Grumps played it.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what you're
Cook
talking about, but
dude, it's another one of those 90s, like they were on drugs making this game. Super Bonk.
Jeez.
Like just
Super Bonk? I've never heard of it.
It's this bald, like small look, like caveman looking character, and you basically go through all these levels and they take you to just random places. It's like you start off in a city, and then after you go through the city level, you drop down into a sewer, and there's like there's no context to why you're going through this. It's just go through the game.
I'm looking at it now, and this is not ringing a bell at all. I thought I was looking at like I don't know, Dragon Ball Z game for a second.
No, it's like I played it because I saw the Grumps play it, and I was like, no, I got to try this out for myself. And it's just like they throw so much at you. Like one of the things you can do is you can take words off of a sign, and you can put them in your pocket, and then you throw the words out, and they roll across the screen, and you can use it as a platform and jump off of it. Like just insane ideas that just came left and right from the game, and you can literally
people, like coked out. Like
I don't know, but this game was on a whole nother level. Like just so much packed into this game, and it just like all of his powers made him look insane, like made him look crazy. But anyway, getting on with our platform games list, I would like to do it with honorable mentions. I know we want to try to avoid it, but I know we can't, especially with this genre.
No. Before, when have we ever skipped and ever not done honorable mentions? Name me one.
Have we done it a handful of times? I feel like we've done it at least once. I feel like one time or two times we've done it.
No.
Okay. All right.
Ty, come on. All
right.
Give us your honorable mentions. Get to it. Chops. That's
Super Monk and Earthworm Jim.
Okay.
To the coked up people who are making those games, thank you.
Maybe it's not coke. Maybe it's like LSD or something. They were seeing something, but also I think that's
what they were seeing. They made a game of what they were seeing. They were probably just sitting outside, and they saw the earthworm. And they're like, "Dude, that's Earthworm Jim."
That's probably what they did. They
were at like a park. And they probably got so sad when that pigeon ate the bird or ate the worm.
What on earth?
What on Earthworm Jim?
Oh my god!
What a segue.
Do you have any honorable mentions, Charles? Because I don't think I do. I think one that I think I've played like a little bit, but not much, but I know is super influential is Tomb Raider. Just because I know how much it's evolved and just how impactful it was. Again, it created a film series.
There was an era a couple years ago where when streamers were starting to get into platform games, there was one that comes to mind is called Geometry Dash.
Yep.
One of the most difficult games I've ever played.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I beat it blindfolded.
Shut up.
Cap.
Maybe
No,
maybe how
I do
about
not
a
do that.
more well-known game kind of like that called Get Over It or Getting Over It.
Oh yeah, get over it.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, I remember
It's
when
kind of
everyone
like
was playing that.
it's kind of like the like Fortnite did like a just going up or what's it called? Where it's like
There's one
all the
called Only
streamers
Up right now
only
that
up.
people have been
Yes, that's
playing.
it. That's the one
The
I'm thinking
streamers were
of.
playing the one where it's like if you fall, you're going all the way back down to level 1 or whatever. I don't know.
Kai,
Those look like such a time waster.
Kai, you've seen what was the one you mentioned, Charles? The get
Only
over it.
up
No,
Mhm.
get
getting
over
over
it.
it.
You've seen that one. It's the guy in the pot with
Yep.
the hammer.
Yep.
That's the one.
Mhm.
That's the
Yep.
one.
I saw that
That's a
on the list and I
very
was like, "Oh my god."
I just want to play it. Like I just want to play it to play it. I don't
I
want to beat
can't.
I don't want to
That came
beat it.
out
I just want to play it.
Just want
that
to
came
try
out
it.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Only Up I think is one of those that like just took off. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just
Well,
like
because you see all these like streamers nowadays, like they're getting towards the top and they're just like they get knocked off and they're just all caps rage. They're destroying their keyboards. They're throwing shit. Like it's funny as hell to watch. I'm not
I'm
gonna.
too I'm too poor to I'm too poor to destroy my keyboard.
No, there's no reason to. No, thank you.
That's my reason is I'm too poor. Like I can't afford to get another nice keyboard. So
No,
I
thanks.
gotta be real careful with what I got. But my actual honorable mentions is Celeste and a game called Shantae, which is it's basically about this it's a more modern game. I think it came out in like 2015, 2016, like kind of beginning era of like the newer consoles. But it's
Mm.
basically this girl, she's like a half genie and she uses her hair as a weapon. So her hair is like a whip, so it's kind of like up so she can
So
actually
like
like
Tangled.
in a way, yeah. Um, but it's just like a really simplistic old school style platformer and I've seen gameplay of it and I again want to play it, but I got a really big list of games that I need to play. That's the thing I think that like kind of going off on a limb here. I think people who read books and play video games are very similar because there are people who buy like 10 or 12 books and it's like, yeah, I got like 8 other books I need to read I haven't read yet. It's the same thing for people playing video games. It's like, yeah, I bought like 10 games. I still got 9 other games I got to play before I put any new ones on my list.
Definitely.
I guess that's similar attitude.
Yeah, similar
But
attitude.
I think people that prefer reading books over playing games would tell you differently. Like these aren't the same.
Mm. But the
They
premise
would-
is the same.
They would definitely be dicks
Yeah.
about
No.
it too.
No,
No,
you
it's
rot your
not.
brain while you play fantasy in your brain.
Anyway, yeah, those would be
Anyways.
my honorable mentions. But Connor, what's your number 3 platform game?
My number
One per franchise, by the way. One per franchise.
Yep,
One per
I've done that. Don't
franchise.
worry. Number 3 is Shovel Knight. I
Yep.
played it with you, Ty. I played it with
Mhm.
you, and
We played it
was,
together.
Yeah, I first saw the Game Grumps play it, but then we played it together, and it was just so much fun. I mean, the different attacks you can do, the different weapons that you get, and I mean, it's a good co-op game, and it's really just like, to me, it brings me back to like an arcade, type of deal, and like the music in it is really good, and the bosses in it are very good and very different.
It brings me back to those moments where like when you had like the Wii as a kid and you would sit down with a bunch of people and you guys would be playing the game together and just like kind of just hanging out that way.
It's got a good nostalgic feel. It's not too difficult to play either. It's not like impossibly hard. It's not obviously, easy, but
yeah,
it's just a nice time. Like I had no complaints or any bad times playing the game at all. Like I would recommend it to everyone, and you could play it alone too. Like that's the thing too. It's also single player, but we just happen to play with each other. So
no, I agree. That's definitely one of those that I have fond memories of playing together, of both happy times and rage moments.
Oh yeah.
There are times where Connor and I would mess around with each other and try to get each other going by like pushing each other off a ledge or jumping on the other person's head and leaving them behind in a level where they're trying to, collect a bunch of like coins and stuff. I think that was the main thing that drove you crazy with me is like I just kept going, but you wanted to like get all the money and the health and
Yeah.
different stuff, and I'm like, oh,
I'm
what's
all
over here?
about like making sure that we can max ourselves out. Like just to go off on a tangent and Tears of the Kingdom, I level myself up before I completed. I only completed a quarter of the main story, and I
So
leveled myself all the
you
way up because
cheated.
that's
You power boosted.
not I power boosted, but that's what I prefer to do in the games. I prefer to get like all the
He
collectibles,
wants to
all that.
be he wants to be superhero mode in the game.
Exactly. I want to be God mode and just
Ooh.
get through the enemies as fast as possible because that's what you're
Yep.
supposed to do. You're supposed to be getting through the enemies as easy as possible.
Boo.
Doesn't matter how you do it, Charles. It just means that you need to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Charles, number 3
Charles,
platformer.
Number 3, gosh. I'm gonna have to go with the OG Pac-Man world.
First one.
Definitely. It's the first one that I can remember playing. I remember going through those missions and just I remember figuring out like, okay, I'm supposed to do this maneuver. Okay, I'm supposed to go on this area and do this with that. So I remember going through, and I just feel like if I were to play that game now, I would just breeze through it.
Yeah.
but as like a 8, 9, maybe even younger kid, just playing that game and just remembering and just feeling nostalgic about it, it's just like, wow, like that, just a whole different concept, and it opened up Pac-Man. The perspective of Pac-Man just made it a
Yeah.
little bit more different, a little bit
Yeah.
more memorable.
So like what's the because I've heard of the game, I've never seen it played, but like what's the premise?
It's well, I mean, I don't necessarily remember if there's like a storyline, but there's like
Yeah,
Mr.
but
Mrs.
like
Pac-Man, and like you're going through a world and you're collecting like almost like a regular 2D Pac-Man where you're going through the maze, but you're going through a world, you're collecting like the orbs
the little
and
pellets.
yeah, orbs, pelts, uh, I don't
Yeah.
know, whatever you call them, and going through the premise of beating the ghosts. But oh man, I it's been probably 15 years since I've played it.
So
It's a
like
hot
But
second.
so like you traverse through and like is it like kind of how what am I thinking of? Like Super Mario 64 where you're like are you collecting something in a level and then you progress to the next one?
I think so.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm trying to
I'm
think.
just so the plot follows Pac-Man's enemies, the ghosts, crashing his 20th birthday and kidnapping his friends, bringing friends and family to bring them to their homeland of Ghost Island. When his birthday in ruins and his family in trouble, Pac-Man sets out to rescue them and defeat the ghosts. So that's the gist
His
of.
birthday was in ruin before Save the Family. I just want to put that out there that his
Listen,
birthday was in ruins.
He planned his party and it got ruined. Listen,
I don't know how expensive
get
would a
that.
Pac-Man birthday be, really?
it might be. You don't know.
I don't. You're right. I don't know Pac-Man. I apologize. I don't know how expensive your birthday was, but if it was that much more than saving your family, then we got a lot to
Yeah.
talk about there, Pac-Man.
But it was a lot of like make sure you collect the key to move on to the next stage, and
Mhm.
like you can collect letter. I remember collecting letters that would spell out Pac-Man. You get like a super special level to get like
nice.
extra like food and stuff like that, and you can get extra lives by collecting different pieces of the Pac-Man man. So it was just fun. I would play it if I could find that uh, I don't know, find that title nowadays. If I
Mhm.
had a PlayStation 1, of course.
Isn't PlayStation 2 backwards compatible?
I have no idea.
I think it is. I think PlayStation 2 can play PlayStation 1.
Well, what the hell have I been doing this whole time then?
Then go get
Go get it,
a
Tiger.
game.
Go get it,
the
Tiger.
game, Charles.
Yeah, you could get like the 3 Crash Bandicoot games. You can get those on PlayStation 1 and play them on PlayStation 2.
Hmm.
Might have to add those to the collection list.
Actually, they're saying that Pac-Man World Repack was released just last year.
On what?
Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4.
PS4,
Oh, wow.
PS5, Xbox, Windows.
You can get a Switch and then we can all play games together.
Yeah.
There's a thought.
Yep. We can play Mario Party.
Hell yeah. Number 3 for you, Ty. Number 3 platformer.
Number 3, Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, we all know.
Solid.
Jak and Daxter, just such a solid game. It's one of those where the three of us could be sitting on the couch and it's, hey, every time we collect a power cell, we rotate. You know, if you find a power cell out in the wild, cool, collect it and, you know, pass it. You know, cool. You found one in the wild, or hey, like, let's work on this one together. Oh, you know, if you found one really fast, okay, yeah, take that one and we'll let you collect one more and then, you know, switch off if you die or, you know, whatever.
Which game? Which one?
First one. Curse of Legacy. Curse of Legacy. That's the one that I enjoyed the most. I've played the other two. I didn't enjoy them as much, but I definitely really loved the way that the character dynamic was, the story building, just everything about Jak and Daxter as a series. Just kind of just came together and the movement was fluid. You know, like there's the elements of platforming that you do in that, using the different kinds of like I forget what it's called. Eco. Yeah, the different types of eco. So green eco, yellow eco, red eco, they all give you an ability. So blue eco makes you faster, green eco, you know, gives you more life, red eco makes you stronger, and then, you know, yellow eco allows you to like have a fireball. So just like I like the elements of that, but it also like challenges you with different types of mini games within the game as well.
Made you think.
Yeah. And it's one of those where like you can pass and play and you see how different people think. Like Connor's gonna approach a level differently than I will to go get. Yeah. Even though there's a linear way to do it, it's like, you know, Connor's gonna, you know, go here first instead of to this one, because I think that this one would be a lot easier to get rather than, you know, trying to do boss battle, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's
number 2, Connor.
Number 2 for me, actually shares the name of the number that we're on. It Takes Two. I've mentioned it before. Did you plan
that?
No, I didn't. It just happened to fall that way because, you know, Shovel Knight, I haven't had. It's more recency bias with It Takes Two, but I mean, the concept is super simple. I mean, the story is really like real and sad. You know, it takes you're a divorced couple with a child, and you get turned into her dolls, which are based off of her mom and dad, and you play as those dolls, and you're trying to, you know, get back to your bodies and also reconnect your love, and also, you know, try and, you know, make sure your kid's okay because she's now feeling all sad that her mom and dad are ignoring her, all this stuff. But you play as the dolls, and as you go along, you get different powers and different levels, which help you complete the levels. So like, for example, one person might be a flower and can change into a flower, and the other person can whack weeds and shoot water. Another example, oh my gosh, one might have a gun that shoots jelly that can explode, and the other one shoots a missile that will explode that jelly. So you're always working together with each other to do it. So I've played that game, and it's one of the best co-op games I've ever played. And the makers who did that game also did another very acclaimed game called Way Out, which same sort of deal of co-op, and you play prisoners escaping. So I highly recommend it. Playing it like in a couple, like, you know, you can be the wife and the husband, or, you know, if you're whoever you are, you can change it up always. You know, it's so much fun. And
Connor, are you the husband or the wife?
I played the wife.
Oh, we all know,
because she got the best. Because she got the best stuff. By the way, she got the gun. Like
assets.
She did. No, she really did have the best like weapons and the best powers, in my opinion. Her husband kind of got
great
the
assets.
So it's really fun though, and I highly suggest it to anyone. And it's good for both, you know, people who have never played a video game before and first season professionals, who've played a ton of video games.
Mm. It's one of those two I feel like you can just like you can pick up and play at any time. It's never
exactly.
It's never like it doesn't get old. Like
No.
it's very like you could play it for 30 minutes and have a great time with it. Even if you don't progress that far, you could just have fun, just laughing at each other, messing up and all that.
And that's exactly what I did. I mean, we played up until we played for 30 minutes sometimes or 2 hours. It just, depends on what you've got going on. It's
Depends
a game
on
you
the
can pick up
vibe.
easily. Yeah.
Charles, number 2 for you, my friend.
I'm stuck between two, guys.
Honorable mention.
They both come from the Mario series.
Okay.
And they're two titles that are similar but different, and I think I would say I've spent equal amount of time playing both of them. It's between Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the aspect with Super Mario Sunshine that you had the backpack, where you could spray the water and utilize the height like that. But I also like Super Mario Galaxy, where you're traversing through literally the galaxy to get the stars. So between the two, it's a toss up. They both take number 2 spot. I'm just gonna say that one's not better than the other for me. They're both indifferent. And I can't choose between them for Mario series at least.
Those are both very solid games.
Yeah, like I could go between the two for number 2 spot. Like they both have that same special place in my heart.
So you're cheating a little bit, is what you're telling me.
That is cheating.
Don't make me pick, guys.
Connor, do we make him pick? I think we have to, because we do honorable mentions for a reason.
Okay. My number 2 pick, Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Super Mario Galaxy is the honorable mention. The only reason I say that is because there was 2 Super Mario Galaxies, and I don't think there was a second Super Mario Sunshine.
No, there's only been one Super Mario Sunshine.
There's only been one.
Yeah.
There's been a re-release, but not.
It's not the same.
Not quite the same.
Even close.
It's not the same.
Yeah. But yeah, Sunshine is just one of those games that just, again, took Mario and just gave him a completely different look and a completely different style.
And it was like it was a completely different play style almost, because you had the I don't know, what do you guys call it, water shooting backpack?
Yeah, flood.
Something like that. Yeah,
flood. Yeah,
flood. Yeah, no, it's just an appreciation for that, and on top of it being a 3D world where the cinematography and the camera work aspect of it was a little difficult at times. That I remember that being a struggle, but with that title coming out, I think it was ahead of its time.
Right, I agree.
Definitely.
I think the only thing I would say that I thought was really funny about that game was that Bowser had the voice of like a dude from the Bronx serving you pizza.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, yo, I'm Bowser." Like,
it had a little bit of that kind of vibe, absolutely.
It's so funny because I heard him talk and I'm like, "What?" Like,
who the hell is this guy?
He's not from that. No, but
you poor thing.
Yeah. Then after that, they were like, "Yeah, you don't have a voice anymore." Well, now he does. Now he does have a voice. He has Jack Black's voice. But
yes.
No, that's a really good pick because I thoroughly enjoyed that game, and I'll have to send you the video. But I saw this video. There are a lot of these creators are doing this now, and they're doing challenges with old school games and being like, "Oh, you take the core mechanic and you remove it." It's like, "Oh, can you beat Sonic Adventure 2 Battle without jumping?"
Oh God!
You know what I mean?
Were they trying to beat Super Mario Sunshine without using the flood?
Yeah, basically it was, can you beat Super Mario without touching any water?
Oh man.
Probably not.
I'll have to send you guys the video and you'll have to find out.
You bastard. Number 2 for you, buddy.
I was gonna say the amount of times I've heard that, I would be a millionaire if I had that for every time Connor has said that to me.
Yeah, probably.
Great friendship.
Yep. It's a beautiful friendship. I love you too, Connor.
Love you too,
Anyway,
buddy.
number 2 for me, a very tough choice in the Mario series. It's a Mario title that I remember not only playing by myself, but pass and play with friends, and we would do different challenges, and that would be Super Mario Galaxy 2. There was a lot of fun memories with that game, with you being able to use Luigi and play through the Luigi levels. There was the ability to use Yoshi in that type of environment as well, and Yoshi was completely broken because you could do what was called a float cancel. So you could basically jump and do his flutter jump, and then if you hit Z, which was crouch, you would crouch in the air, and then you could hit A again and he'd flutter. And you could just do that infinitely. And you could just go and like get to places that you weren't supposed to get to in the level. And so I would just try to see what I could do with that for the fun of it. But yeah, but there's a lot of fond memories of playing Super Mario Galaxy, not just by myself, but with friends and with family and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll throw an honorable mention in there, which would be the Epic Mickey series. Disney's Epic Mickey. That was a very fun platformer with all the it was like a darker story on a Disney game, and I really liked that.
I feel like we've talked about Epic Mickey at some point.
We did a little bit. We touched on it, but I think it's one of those Disney games that like is severely underrated, and it got a second iteration, and the second iteration was a co-op game.
Yeah, with Oswald. There we go.
Yep. So that'd be an honorable mention, but Mario Galaxy 2, just beautiful graphics, beautiful levels, just overall, like I've seen a few things online where people are like, oh, it's just the DLC of Mario Galaxy. I'm like, well, yeah.
That's lazy.
Yeah, but also
so
like
lazy.
The other part of it, it's like they added a bunch of different, they added Yoshi as a mechanic. They added, him different having different fruits as mechanics where he gets different power-ups and stuff. So that's just the way I see it. But
to me, that's lazy critique. That's a lazy critique.
So, all right, Connor, this is it.
The
number one platforming game of all time, according to Connor.
What you gonna say for your number 1?
So, you guys have mentioned a lot of Mario games, and mine is a Mario game as well. Mine is also a Mario Galaxy game as well.
Where's Mario?
Oh, no, however, because I didn't really play 2, it would be Super Mario Galaxy, just the first one.
Okay.
To me, felt like a much needed breath of fresh air in the franchise. Brought in, the 3D aspect was something still relatively new for the Mario franchise, and I feel like it adapted it very well. I love the new power-ups they gave. B Mario is always going to be one of my favorite like power-ups that you could ever get. Just because you could like fly for a second. But I mean, the music in that one is so good. The graphics, still kind of hold up today. Chasing star bits, the comets. I mean, one of my favorite levels in that game is the one where you're surfing on the manta ray and you have to like race. Good use of motion controls in my opinion. And it's just something that I had a lot of fun with. I played with my brother. It was a good pass and play as well. So I would just say that one mostly for nostalgia reasons as well. Like, one of the first games ever on the Wii. And I mean, it introduced my bae Rosalina, so I can't complain too much.
It's your bae. She's
one of my video game baes, definitely.
That's gonna come up a little bit later. But anyway, Charles, number 2.
We just did number 2
or number 1.
Number 1. Ty can't count.
I can't count.
Give you a hard time.
Number 1. We're on number 1.
Well.
Okay, Connor. This is how I know you're rubbing off on me.
Yeah.
Number one, um, definitely one of my favorite series of all time. I'd say Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, that's a
What
good
game?
Up your arsenal.
Hey, listen. No, I'm kidding.
one.
Anyway, no, that's a great choice. That's such a good game.
I mean, I played a lot of Up Your Arsenal, and
Can't think of the other one.
Demolition. No,
Basically, all the names are innuendos.
yeah.
So
Rift Apart.
Well, Deadlocked, Going Commando. I played a lot of the early 2000 games versions. Mainly the three: Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlocked. I liked how Deadlocked was like we called it the gladiator title, because you played like a gladiator type of arena and stuff like that. But no, Up Your Arsenal was definitely one of my favorites. It just felt very fluid with the different levels and the weapons and everything like that. It just felt fluid.
No, I
That's
definitely
what I would say.
I like the older Ratchet and Clank stuff. Up Your Arsenal, I think one of the better titles of the older ones. The weaponry in that game is very unique. The platforming elements are fun, and the story is. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's amazing, but it's a fun story to go through and kind of learn more about the characters as the story progressed.
Yeah,
But
and it was like one of the first ones that you could play split screen, or even like I think a 4-player split screen as well, in the series. And I think going through the campaign, there was even levels where you can play. I think that was one of. I think that was the first title where you can play as Clank.
yeah,
And like have Clank going through like the individual levels.
Solo Clank.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's a good one. That's a good
I would
choice.
say that would be my number one.
It's a good choice. Connor, have you played Ratchet and Clank?
Oh God, I mean, I saw one of my old friends, Josiah. He played it, and I think I touched the controller for like maybe like a level or two. Like if I played it, it was very brief. It's always a game series. Obviously, you hear about, if you know pop culture, if you know video games, it's a game series you hear about, but it's never one that I touched too much. But I know everyone loves it.
If I could find a copy of that for PlayStation 2, I would definitely spend money for it.
Oh yeah,
I'll keep an eye out for you.
Preach.
Because I'm going out to the Portland RetroCon and might find a game or two in there. Yeah, that's a good title. That's a really good title.
Ready? Number one for you, Ty.
Ty.
I don't think we need to really. I think you guys already know what I'm going to say, but I just have a little poster here that'll, I think, change.
I like how it's
that's
blurred.
Horrible. Yeah. Hey Ty, maybe unblur your background. You
Where's my background? And yeah, there we go. Sly Cooper.
Sly Cooper.
Just closer.
We see
the Master Thief.
My number one platformer is Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I'm kidding. It's like
really, you got to do it
after
like
that.
that.
After that whole thing, like it goes to my number one being Sly
Aladdin.
Cooper. Yeah, Aladdin. Aladdin, my number one game. No, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper is my number one game. Just really? I love everything about that game, and no, not Earthworm Jim. As much,
that was an honorable mention. Remember?
As much as I wanted to be. What? I didn't say anything. But anyway, no, just Sly Cooper. Just I would probably have to say it's hard between. I probably have to go with the third game, Honor Among Thieves, because you get Well, I mean, it's a spoiler, but basically,
It's fine.
all the enemies that you have fought a couple of the enemies you fight previously now become your allies, and you get to utilize their abilities.
That's cool.
So
That's a cool concept.
Yeah, so the story goes to like, oh, they're going back to that enemy, and they're like, hey, there's a bigger enemy that we need to defeat, and the only way we can do it is with your specialty.
The enemy of my enemy becomes my friend.
Yes, exactly what happened. So I think that it's just such a fun game, and I feel like there's not a lot of love for it, and I want the word to be spread that Sly Cooper is a great game and that people should try it. And if I find it, Charles, I'm gonna find you the Sly Cooper games, and I'm gonna get you on board with it.
And then we're gonna have a party at my house.
Yep, we'll have a party. We'll invite Connor for now, but
yes, I'll take for now. I'll take it.
Let's get it.
Oh man, but yeah, let us know in the Discord. Let us know on social media what your guys' favorite platform games are. Let us know if our opinions are good or not, and if they are, great. If they're not, screw you. But anyway,
or Connor's opinion's just completely invalid.
Yeah,
because he's a dirty casual.
Exactly. I mean,
filthy casual.
Mine are all very, either in the past or what I most recently played.
Mm-hmm.
That's just who I am.
All right, Connor, sign us off.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for listening to us. Please check out the Geek Freaks Network. Please listen to their good podcasts over there. Please follow us on whatever social media platform you use, which is Twitter or Instagram. Follow us there, and just please let us know, and also give us a 5-star rating.
Leave us a review. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, we definitely just to boost numbers up so more people see 5-star ratings. I know help, so if you could do that would be great
too.
Yeah.
We gotta let Connor know that he's doing a good job.
Yeah, you have to let just me wink, nudge, nudge, and not anyone else.
But Connor needs it more than anybody.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yes.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.